How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of fruited Saison, a little bit of age on it in the form of Free Will Brewing. It is their Pawpaw Saison 2017 edition. I've never had this before. I've never had a Pawpaw-based beer before. I've never eaten Pawpaw before. Knew nothing about it. I actually went on a Free Will Brewing about a week and a half ago to visit my buddy CJ, and the cellarman was there too, and kind of got hanging out and went down the basement and chugged a bunch of beers. And he sent me home with a couple different beers, and I was like, "What is Pawpaw?" And he's like, "It's a fruit, and I guess you get it. South PA gets it, but it's kind of like runs the whole kind of East Coast down and above the West Coast. 'Cause I guess there's a couple different variants of Pawpaw, but what I've been told is it comes off a little bit more like a tropical fruit mixed with banana and a little bit of custard. That's kind of the explanation I have, but we're going to dive into it and see what we think. What does it say on this bottle? It says Pawpaw Saison. It says Saison ale fermented in a foudre and aged in barrels with pawpaws. 5.7% alcohol by volume. Saison ale aged and fermented in a foudre and barrels with pawpaws. Saison fermented in foudre with our house Saison yeast and Brett. Then aged in barrels with locally gathered pawpaws, the only fruit native to Pennsylvania. Really? Native to Pennsylvania? I did not know that. Notes of white grape, pineapple, plantain, and woody, earthy, refreshing funk. That's it. I really dig Free Will's label design, especially the newer ones they did. This kind of like really high-end textured paper really goes a long way, and I like the drop of the coloring and just going to that kind of brown label or dark green illustrative kind of wood etching kind of art. And that kind of high-end paper. I kind of dig it. So yeah, let's see what this sucker has to offer. So yeah, Free Will is pretty cool. I've been there before, but I never actually kind of sat and just chugged some beers and drank some stuff here and there and whatchamacallit. So it was a really good trip. I'm actually going to head back down there, probably do a podcast or something like that in the future. But yeah, let's see what this sucker has. Yeah, I'm really excited just in general. Taste something Pawpaw, just the name in it by itself kind of tickles me pink. So let's get there. Didn't really disturb the yeast all that much, but we'll stop before she really kind of gets in the glass and give her a little tap and give it the old look-see. I mean, what does that look like? It looks like a foudre aged Saison. How? Because there's not much of a head on it. I mean, there's an adjunct in it too, but you didn't get a big frothy head. I poured it probably a little bit too gentle, but that's on me. And you get a soft haze to her, kind of like an apricot kind of juice to her. So yeah, she looks the part of a Saison. It gives it this kind of nice wispy. I don't know if you can see that in the camera when I actually give it a whirl. It kind of gives this kind of cloud of wispy white around the top. It's kind of interesting. It's got a nose. I mean, I can sit here all day and tell you there's this fruit there, there's that fruit there. Really, I tend to get more peach notes when just in my own brain when it comes to kind of wild, funky beers in general. Something that's not over the top. And that's kind of what I get getting here. Kind of a rich orchard kind of fruit kind of funk. I definitely get that foudre in there. It's not super vanilla, but it's got a big oak component to it. Smells really drying. Not really getting much as far as like a added fruit to it. So I'm not sure. There is a sweetness in there. Maybe that's that Pawpaw coming through. I don't know, but there's like a kind of, maybe that's it. Maybe that's that soft kind of, it's not lactose, but it's like an added sweetness. That's not malt sweetness. That's not traditional fruit sweetness. It's a bit more of that custard kind of thing that I talked about previously. A little bit of that kind of sweetness going in there, but nothing too distinct. It just smells like a really good Saison that's been sitting in a foudre. Honestly, you get a little bit of soft Brett funk vibes. Nothing over the top. I'm not getting big like Brett C or anything too dirty and filthy. It's just a nice funkiness with a nice hefty bit of wood and a really nice, well done, pretty Saison floating somewhere in the middle. So, just gonna dive in. Cheers. Yeah, see that's just super gentle, super drinkable. Probably a little bit. Just a skosh drier than where I would like this particular one to be, only because the sweetness isn't too bold. I appreciate that. I don't want my Saison, especially in my kind of, funky, bready kind of Saisons, to get overly sweet, but it's not that sweet at all. Get a big pop of fruit right there. But that oak And that dryness from the yeast and the oak, I think, is just a little bit of skosh too much for me to kind of be like, that's perfect. But I'm kind of splitting hairs here. It's pretty damn tasty stuff. Mouth feels nice. Neither sprightly nor watery. Somewhere in between. The Foudre is the star of the show here. Being that I've never had a Pawpaw, I'm not going to say I'm tasting it, nor am I going to say I am tasting it or not tasting it, basically. There is a soft fruit apricot vibe to it, a soft banana vibe to it. But those could be yeast esters. Those could be something that you're getting from a bit of yeast there as opposed to the actual fruit itself. So there's nothing really distinct for me to kind of trigger for me to be like, yeah, that's big Pawpaw forward. I just want to say the word Pawpaw a lot, be perfectly honest with you. But it's nice. It's tasty. It's drinkable. This is a very versatile beer. This could definitely be something that is just wheelhouse dinner beer, but I think this is going to sit pretty well just being drank by itself. So it's multifaceted, 5-tool player. Dig it. I like it. I like the fruitiness. That it is big and robust on the fruit end of things, but it doesn't come off like gigantic, sweet or overly like out of balance sweet. If that was the best way I could put it. Lost for words, I guess you would say. But I like it. I dig it. It's well made. Listen, they did one of my favorite Saisons, funky beers. I would put them last year. And this is much the same. Same vein, same kind of depth to it. There's richness to be had, but it's nothing is cranked overly over the top. I think I might have said this on this one. I'm not quite sure if it was or the previous one that I did that I liked last year. It's more like, you know, the difference between having a huge sound system and a loud sound system. Like I have a home theater and it's dialed in for precise sound. So you can have it loud, but when you don't have it cranked, you can still hear everything. Where some things are just very loud and they only work really loud. This is, you know, turn to 5. It's not turn to 11, but when you turn it to 5, everything's there. You don't have to dig all that deep for all the bits and pieces and flavors, even though it seems like, oh, that's a little bit there, a little bit there. It's not that much guesswork, to be perfectly honest with you. All the flavors are there, they're present, but not cranked to 11. That in of itself is a fun thing. I dig it. Tasty. Delicious. The only thing I need to do is track me down some Pawpaw and eat that shit, so I have a little bit better grasp of what the fruit actually is next time I meet one. But yeah, let's talk about it. It's one of the better Saison I've had as of late. Yes, definitely worthy of being in the conversation. There's ones that have done me a little bit better in this one, but this is pretty damn good stuff. Value and availability. I was lucky enough to walk away with some bottles, so that's just me. But I think these go for right around, you know, 500, what, 375? It's not 500 milliliter. It can't be, right? Yeah, 375. I don't remember actually how much this costs. Probably $12. That's my guess. You know, it could be a little bit pricey, but you're talking about a ton of exotic, if you call American-born fruit exotic fruit, Pennsylvania native. That's not exotic. Anyway, exotic fruit and Foudre aged Saison. You know, take that for what it's worth. I don't think it's brewery only. And leave you with, if you like what you like this, if you like well done, thoughtful, impactful, yet, well, at the same time, not screaming in your face Saison. If you want something that has a bit of depth to it and delivers a richness to it, or if you like Pawpaws, I don't know if, you know, drink this. Tell me if Pawpaws all over the place. I don't know. That's something I don't know and I need to learn, which is kind of fun, kind of interesting. So there you go. Long-winded review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Pawpaw beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Pawpaw.